Hello, everybody. It's your man Spin here on a special version of Woodbine Mile Weekend. Such an exciting event coming up. The fields have already been drawn. The crowds will be there. Excitement galore. Some amazing racing. Late pick 4 guarantees and late pick 5 guarantees of 250,000. This is going to be the weekend to be there, folks. I know. I wish I could be there, but I will be with them in spirit. I will be watching very closely. So I figured for such a big weekend, who better to talk about the weekend than our friend? You know her as the parlay queen, harness racing, thoroughbred racing, football, basketball. She knows it all. One of the best, and I have the privilege. She has taken a couple of minutes of her very busy time here on Woodbine Mile Week to join me. And let's bring her in. Monique, how are you, my friend?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And what an introduction. I was like, who are you talking about? Hold on. Is this
Oh, you know who I'm talking about. Absolutely. One of the best. And you must be very excited about this big weekend ahead.
Yeah, it is amazing. We always talk about looking forward to these bigger racing days, and King's Plate, Queen's Plate, always a fun day. I love it. I mean, the race itself is just fun. It's such a puzzle to try to handicap with such a large fields. And then you factor in something like Woodbine Mile Day with the Breeders' Cup winning your in events too.
Yes.
On a 2-year-olds on the card, which makes things even more challenging. From a handicapping perspective, it really doesn't get any better than Woodbine Mile Day. So I know you're excited. I know we're getting an early head start on our handicapping, which is either going to work one of two ways. It's going to be great in the sense that we'll have all of our picks done and be ready and good to go, or we're going to do a lot of reevaluating if there's a huge speed bias a couple of days before, but at least we'll be somewhat prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, just before we kind of talk about the races a little bit, for the people out there, how do you, as a professional handicapper, when you're going into a day like this, 12 races, how do you yourself kind of approach a card like this? Obviously, during the normal day, is that with these type of races, is there any extra thing or any special thing that you like to do on these big days?
To be honest with you, Sean, it's one of those days where there's so many opportunities to place wagers and there's so many wagers that you can do. That's why I always lean on the side of being a little bit more selective. You
Yeah.
can't have that strong of a read on every single race. So I try to hone in on the ones that I really do like. In terms of the multi legs, I always try to find a single and a pick 4 or 5. If I can't find that, I probably tend to either find a different way of wagering it, whether it be a superfecta or straight win bets. I always try to find a horse that I really do love. And then it can work one of two ways as well. On the side that either your day is completely made because the horse you love the most comes through,
Sure.
likely to cash your tickets, or it's time to go back to the drawing board. But the good thing is,
Right.
so many more opportunities, especially on a card like Saturdays where you do have 12 races and so many. So I guess to kind of answer your question, in terms of what goes in that's different, the preparation is usually the same, but it's oftentimes we're all sometimes pivot and have like a backup play, whether it be you see a couple days before or the day of, whether it be a rider or a barn really get hot and you see their runners racing extremely well, either having winners or really finishing up strong. I tend to usually kind of back those trends and see who's trending in the right direction and who's hot. So usually I like to back that. What about you? How do you
Yeah.
tackle this?
Yeah, I got to kind of learn those strategies. Exactly. I look at 12 races. Hey, here we go. Oh, how are we going to do with 12? I tend to look exactly right. Just exactly. Dig in exactly. But I tend to kind of do what you do. I kind of break them down into the races of what I feel strongest and what the races that I don't, that I don't feel strongest about on a 12-day card of excellent races like that. Exactly. The temptation is just to attack everyone, but sometimes patience. I know it's not a great word in my vocabulary, but on big days like that, I try to kind of look at the races and the ones that I feel I rate them on a confidence level from like positive to this one's a tough one, Zach, and try to focus on the ones that I can kind of hammer out, and then if I'm doing well with those, then kind of play accordingly to the other ones that I'm not as strong on. So it's going to be a great day. One of the horses that I know that is running for you guys up there, which is in the Vigil Stakes, which is a race earlier, is the very popular Patches O'Houlihan, who is Robert Tiller. Not related to him, but a lot of people are wondering, could this be the next Pink Lloyd, which is awful big shoes to fill. But so far, this young man has done everything right. So it'll be very interesting to see how he does.
He's been really fun to watch. I mean, to see him on the synthetic and to dominate the way that he has, to see him on the turf, be able to handle both those surfaces that way. I mean, it's been really fun to watch. And, early on, he was a horse that was on our radar, and we were all interested to see how he'd be able to compete because he's winning these optional claimers and he's doing style. Then he's winning against Ontario breds and he's doing extremely well doing so. The way that he won the Bold Venture, yes, it was a very speed favoring track. So many of the horses, especially on the latter half of that card, fight day, were the horses that got to the front end, were able to control it easily and do so. But you got to factor in the quality of competition he beat. It wasn't the deepest of groups, but that being said, it was a big move up to be facing open company. And for him to do so that way was so impressive. And then you kind of look at the field, just kind of glancing over. There isn't a ton of early speed. Now, who is really going to be able to go at him? Well, Rockcrest, we know, has that on the front end. It was tough because in the Vice Regent, I know Rockcrest is a horse that you really like. You're a big fan of. It's fun to root along. I don't know what went wrong. He was in it.
Yeah, that was a very perplexing race for sure.
So that's a question mark for me. But in terms of Patches, I mean, he's definitely the real deal. He's proven himself. I like that this is on the synthetic. It's going to be a really fun race. What's your kind of overall thoughts on there? So he's doing battle with a lot of horses that he faced off against.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a fascinating race. You have Rockcrest. You have Outlaw Kid for George Weaver, who I think could be a very interesting player in there. I mean, you have some very interesting. Even Paulo Lobo's bringing in My Buddy. I think it's a fascinating race, and this is where Patches is really going to kind of prove his stamina. I know when Pink ran, he said, "Oh, I don't know if he can beat an open company." When he beat the open company, he just really earned the respect of all North America. And I think this is Patches' chance to do the same, which is very exciting.
And it's so cool that you mentioned it. It's with Bob Tiller again. And it seems like, we have to talk about like lightning striking once and being so rare. And that is someone like Pink Lloyd. And then for it to, I mean, it's still early to tell, but seemingly to be kind of striking again with Patches. It's just really fun to watch. And the stories too about this horse, it's so cool that they weren't exactly sure how he would take to the turf and they didn't know to enter him elsewhere. And then the fact that he's been spotted so perfectly, I know a lot of the connections will say, oh, maybe it is a little bit of coincidence and good luck. I don't think it's exactly that. I think it's just them being such wonderful horse people and really having that knack for placing horses should be and being able to have them excel. So it's going to be fun because also too, with someone like Patches, in this race, in this contest, you have Rockcrest that we know has so much of that early speed. So it is going to be more of a battle than perhaps we've seen to this point. But you're right, it's going to be a big test. But I really do think he lives up to it. I know it's early to say, but do you think he's going to be a single in the multi-legs for you, Sean?
I would say no. I think he'll definitely be in there. But I think until he proves it against this group, I'm going to be a little, as you said, I was there that when exactly it looked like he was going to be caught, that he came back on, which a lot of horses did that day. The speed, it looked like they were going to get caught and they just kept going. But I think he's got the talent. He will definitely be in my thing. But I do believe this is going to be the real challenge, which kind of that stamps him from not a pretender. He's done very well, but up to that next level towards the Pink Lloyd mantle, Zach. So it's going to be fun.
Long way to go.
A long way to go. Very long way to go. And now, of course, what is more exciting than having one William T. Buick, Mr. Appleby, and Godolphin coming over, winner at the Ascot, coming over to your big race, Woodbine Mile. What a thrill that always is. If I had $1 for every time I heard the word dapple when I was up there, when a Charlie Appleby horse is there. And folks, if you ever seen one of his horses, it's absolutely perfection. It's absolutely perfection. But just to have them here and then to have Johnny V and have Joel and Dylan. Mark Casse represented 3 times. You got Roger. You got Norm as the local upset hope, and then of course Charlie. You couldn't ask for a better group there.
I know it's all class, and it's all, it's just so fun to be able to see some of these horses that we wouldn't be necessarily privy to seeing when they'd come down for, or come up, I should say, for the Woodbine Mile. It's fun. It's going to be such a challenging race. There's so many in there, giant question marks. Even someone like Cheryl Spite, we know, has been primed and ready for a race like this. You were talking about Roger Atfield. I think he'll run a lot better than he did last time out. That's one thing better. And then you got War Bomber, which it's been fun to root this horse along and to be able
he's been great. Yeah.
The way he's been able to kind of turn the tables in his last couple of outings, he's just fun. He's great to root for. And then Rico Walcott as well. I've just been such a fan of him since he's made the move over.
Yeah, amazing transition. Yes.
It's like, I find he makes really good decisions. I find
very good.
Oftentimes with some of these jockeys, when they make the transition over here, you usually see them either sometimes overriding horses a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult. It's a difficult transition.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
People are a little bit more tentative. I think he's fit in so perfectly, and it's fun that he's getting all these opportunities to ride such great horses.
Oh, absolutely. He's amazing. And he's been a fabulous story and a lovely guy too. So very, very easy to root for. So I think it's going to be a great race. And it's one that definitely people should definitely watch. And remember, folks, last year, the winner, the second place horse, and the fourth place horse all came in the Breeders' Cup Mile, came from the Woodbine Mile. So this is always a big stepping stone. So for all you people out there, make sure you're watching this. So it's going to be a fun weekend. And I can't wait and everyone who's watching, please watch 2 of the best people working together. This lovely lady, Monique Vag, as well as Jeff Brait, 2 of the best. They will be doing all the races for you. They'll probably have some special guests in the studio, some exciting stuff throughout the day. So definitely watch. But Monique, thank you so much for joining me, my friend. Have a wonderful Saturday racing. And I know even on Sunday, you got some great stakes, including one of my favorites, Millie Girl, running in she runs a big race, but just have a wonderful Woodbine Mile weekend. And thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
It's not the same without you, Sean. We need to get you back as soon as possible. It's been too long, and it hasn't even been that long, but
it has been too long. I'm already having with Woodbine withdrawals. It's only been a couple of weeks, but it's been wonderful. So thank you so much. And everybody, please tune in. She's one of the best. And also, where can they follow you on the Twitter? Where can they follow you?
At Parlay Queen on Twitter. Usually post racing, as Sean mentioned, sports, everything in general. And of course, make sure to tune into our live feeds. We're also going to be having Peter Lurie joining us for the weekend too.
Oh, so fantastic. Yeah.
Fun. From
That's great. And a late, guaranteed late pick 4 and late pick 5, 250,000, folks. You can't get better than that. It's on some great racing days. So definitely tune in. Monique, thank you again. Always the best, my friend. You're the best. And we look forward to seeing you definitely sooner than later.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks again for having me.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And tune in to the Woodbine Mile this weekend. Always great to see you. And we'll see you tomorrow and on the Cocktail Lounge. And definitely for this weekend for the Woodbine Mile. Thanks, guys.